As soon as this thing, there it goes. All right, you guys ready for the countdown?
Give it to me.
All right, in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, you guys ready?
Let's do this, man.
Here we go. me. All right. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to That Pixel Life. This is episode 29 for November 8th, 2018, and this week we're going to be discussing our thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 2, the Tetris Effect, the BlizzCon controversy that happened this weekend, and lots more. So let's just get right to it. My name is Josh Faulkner. We got Zach Anderson there. Hi, Zach.
Hi, how are you?
I am wonderful, sir. We got Shannon Moore, too. What's up, Shannon?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Now, Elena is out this week. She's got a sick boyfriend at home, so she's being a good girlfriend and taking care of him. So
Mama's little cowboy doesn't feel too good.
Yeah. So we gave her the week off, unfortunately. But we got some guy here that just kind of showed up. His name's Robby, I guess.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, it's Robby Steltenpohl. Hi, Robby.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm doing well.
Prodigal son has returned.
We found the hole he was living in. We dug him out. We rinsed him off with a hose, and here he is.
That's right. That's right. I was hoping Elena was going to be on here because when I posted on the Facebook group that I was going to be on, she asked something about, like, was I going to record from the gym? And I was going to tell you.
That's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Like,
yeah. But I told her that my world is my gym. So everywhere I am, I'm recording because that's my gym. And Zach, you'd be happy to know that I just installed a heavy bag into my garage. And nice. For the last week, I've been doing some hardcore boxing cardio workouts. And I just want to say that I hate my arms.
Right.
Yeah. Do not want to lift them at all.
It's when you throw those first 10 jabs, you're like, oh, I could do this all day. Fast forward 20 minutes, and you're like, I can't even lift my hands. Like I can't. Yeah, yeah,
that's right. I was like, how am I covered in sweat? All I did was move my boat. All I did was move 2 arms. Yep. How am I this sweaty?
Only about 2.5 feet, too. Like, yeah, like
right. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here, Robby.
Dude, I've missed you guys. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, shucks.
Shannon Moore, you sexy beast. I finally get to be on a recording with you, sir.
I know, dude. It's awesome. I love recording with you. Can I say it's like I think this is only the second time, and it's just like putting on a nice flannel jacket. Just all so nice.
Really? Flannel? That's flannel?
Yeah. What do you want? Polyester? Silk? I don't know.
Vinyl?
Maybe satin?
Maybe like a nice Nike hoodie. Like maybe just like a nice Nike pull over.
I was gonna say, you don't want to see what I do to my Nike hoodies. They just get wrecked.
Is that a Ken Norton Jr. jersey in the background?
No, that's a Patrick Willis jersey in the background.
Okay.
Yeah, autographs and everything.
At least I know who Ken Norton Jr. is. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
All right. So let's just before we get started, if you guys can, make sure you head over to thatpixellife.com if you want more from us, including all the links you may be interested in, like following us on Twitter at thatpixellife if you want show updates. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you want to watch the unedited recording sessions of each of these shows. You can join us on the Facebook group and talk about games on a daily basis with us. Also, you can subscribe to us on Patreon if you want to help fund the show, help keep running, and you get exclusive access to these live streams when we record these each week. Also, all the links to every podcast platform we are on are there as well, so check that out if you want that. Now, Robby, since it's been a while since we talked to you, man, what's been going on with your life?
Well, I don't know if anyone knew, but I had a kid about 4.5 months ago.
Yeah.
He is his name's Elijah Kenobi.
Oh, that's why you were off the show. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they take up a lot of time, don't they?
Just a freaking tad. A tad. But no, man, life's been really good. I'm a youth pastor and I do some tutoring work. But for the most part, from about the hours of in the morning and then from like 1 to 6 or 7, I'm a stay-at-home dad. And so I get to spend a lot of time with him, which is fun, but it's just very demanding. Just Like today there was no daycare, so I was with him from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. roughly, and I was just beat mentally, but no complaints. My kid is awesome. He's healthy. He's beautiful. And so I'm really happy to be here. And I've actually been able to play quite a bit of video games. So like my video game life has gone down a little bit, but that's my decision, not by necessity.
I will say enjoy this window because you are about like 4.5 months. So you're looking at maybe a month and a half before you just can't. Like all that goes away. Like
wait till he starts walking and you can't even take a dump without having them in there yelling at you.
It's way before that.
Already at that point. I've had to take him in there numerous times.
Yeah.
I'm just being real. I have no problem admitting that. No shame.
But it's also like it's way before that. Once they start rolling, once the I'm gonna set you here and you're going to stay there stops, it's over. Like, you know, you're on the chase.
That's not encouraging at all. So thank you for that. The only saving grace I have is that 4-hour time period every day where he is in daycare. So I can get church work, school work, because I'm still in grad school. But like a couple of days a week, like what I'll do is I'll work really hard on Monday and Tuesday, get my schoolwork done all the way. And so Wednesday and Thursday, I'm just like gaming like crazy, which we'll talk about in a minute because I do have some very heavy-weighted thoughts about some games. So.
Yeah, we will let you unload everything you've been holding in, man. So
yeah,
you will
Elena,
have that opportunity.
Speaking of that, Elena, I'm coming for you. I got beef.
Uh-oh. Is that your Robby rant this time? Is on Elena?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, it will be. It will be.
All right. Well, that's coming up very shortly, so stay tuned. We also wanted to just thank everyone for their patience for last week. Halloween happened, obviously, and we all had plans with the family and everything. It was hard to get us all locked down to record, so we just took the week off for the holiday, and hopefully that didn't put anyone in a bind or ruin anyone's commute or anything when they listen to us, but we're back on it this week. So
yeah, my brand new car got in a wreck.
Oh, already?
Oh, no.
Yeah, my wife was taking the kids home to get ready for Halloween. This was at 5:00 on Halloween, and a truck whipped around her to cut her off. She was stopped at a light, but like whipped around her to turn right in front of her and clipped the front of my car and ripped the bumper clean off.
Oh my god!
Lovely.
Had it for a month and a half.
It's not like totaled or anything, right?
No. It's literally just the bumper, but it's just like son of a goddamn bitch.
Yeah, but now you gotta take it to the deal. Now you gotta take it to the body shop, and now you gotta put the kid seats in your rental car. And
exactly, gotta get the rental car. It's sad how used to this process I am at this point, but it's just
that sucks.
Yeah.
That's a bummer, dude.
I was gonna say, I mean, Wednesday night it was a blessing too because Halloween night I came down with like I don't know what bug got me, but like if I had an orifice, something was coming out of it. So, like, and it wrecked me for like a week. So, or like probably yesterday was probably the first day I felt like solid again. So, yeah, it probably would have been
nice descriptor. Solid again. Nice. Yes.
Yeah. Solid was not a good description.
The crazy thing is, I actually have a car story as well. It was last Saturday, Georgia Florida game. That's the only reason why I remember it. Corey, my brother Corey was at my brother Ryan's, and they were doing the whole pumpkin cutting thing. Well, y'all remember the big hurricane that came through a couple weeks ago, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan's next door neighbor has a giant tree that's in their like side of their front yard, and it was starting to like make creaking sounds, like really loud noises, like it wasn't stable. And so when Corey parked, his 17-month-old daughter and his wife went inside Ryan's house, and then Ryan said, "Hey man, you might want to move your car. That tree next door has been making some weird noises all day." And so Corey walks out to the car, and no joke, he's probably about 15, 20 feet from the car, he just sees this massive tree just fall right on his car. And
that happened to me before.
Oh, man,
At a tree fall in my car. Yep.
and he had roughly about 10 grand, or I'm sorry, 10,000 miles on the car, and the heartbreaking part was apparently Ryan told me that when they removed the tree, and Corey saw when Corey saw that the car seat had been destroyed, like he just broke down in tears because of possibly what could have happened if they were in the car.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're only going to be about $1,100 in the hole. The equity is going to roll over to a new car, so it's not as bad as it could be. But
totally,
Zach, I'm man, I didn't know that about Stephanie. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Luckily, everyone was totally fine. My son damn near slept through the whole thing. Like it was just
Wow.
like it's one of those cars. It's a pain in the ass. It sucks, but cars can be replaced. Cars can be repaired. Yeah, it's, as long as everyone walks away, that's all that really matters.
Yeah,
so
totally, man. Totally. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get on to our industry buzz section. Now, we got something big we want to talk about here, but there's a couple little things we wanted to clean up that we haven't talked about yet. And first off, those early photos for that Paul W.S. Anderson Monster Hunter movie came out. The one that's starring, was it Mila Jovovich?
His wife.
The Uwe Boll of video game actresses.
Yeah, pretty much. So these pictures surfaced, and this looks nothing like Monster Hunter. I'm sure we're not surprised here, but it looks like some kind of weird sci-fi film. And what do you guys think of this?
Well, I mean, my favorite part of Monster Hunter was when I was a soldier carrying around a gun. So,
I mean, honestly, first of all video games ever made, this is probably one of the ones that should never be made into a movie.
It doesn't make sense why they even went after this.
I played Monster Hunter World. I played Monster Hunter on the Vita. There is no narrative. There is no real story whatsoever. It's just, hey, you just go kill monsters to make better gear to kill bigger monsters. That's all it is. So in that sense, it's disappointing. But at the same time, man, these pictures just.
And why does Capcom keep giving this guy their properties? Is what I want to know.
Dude, go ahead, Zach. Sorry.
Because they make money, man.
Yeah.
Like that's the. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're
but they're
good or
dragging
bad.
their properties through the mud. Like
it's two different. It's two different audiences. It's two different audiences. Like people that buy Monster Hunter is one of the best selling games Capcom's made in 10 years.
This is gonna crush in Japan.
Yeah, and it's the same reason they made the Warcraft movie, so they could release it in China.
So disappointing.
It had, and you know what? It was always gonna be, but it wasn't made for you. You're in America. You're an American audience. Like it was not made for you.
The director was for Warcraft was a pretty good director, and I'm actually shocked that movie came out the way it did.
Oh, 100%. I went into Warcraft open-minded, incredibly excited because, as Zach knows, Warcraft 1, 2, and 3 are some of my favorite games of all time. And it seemed that they were going more of the Warcraft storyline than they were like WoW or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was so disappointed by that movie. And look, I've been the optimist about these video game movies from day one, and I think I'm starting to get chipped away at it. Like it's starting to just chip away at my as my optimism. The only movies that I could honestly see being decent is Last of Us or Uncharted, and that's just because we already have movies like them. Like that's the only thing I can think of, because these video game movies suck.
But it's one of those things, Monster Hunter, if nothing else, is an amazing title. It's like literally like the words Monster Hunter sound like a good movie. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And
The Rock, I'm surprised The Rock isn't in this movie, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
The budget's not big enough for him but no, it's one of those things where they've got a great title, they've got a known actress, they've got a subgenre, which is what video games are, that'll bolster it enough, and they just have to make it a fun monster movie. Like they don't care about making it the Capcom game. Like there'll be no cats serving you fish. You know, like that's
that's got to be in there, man. If one thing, they got to have those fish. I mean, those cats like serving you food. That was like the best part of Monster Hunter.
Well, yeah, I love no matter what you order. Like they just like go to town. Like
you could watch that over and over, those animations, and you're just like into it the whole time.
I have watched that.
Yeah. Also, if you're looking at those photos and you see Mila Jovovich is attached to this, and you get your hopes up, you're on the hook for your own disappointment. Like
that's very true.
You basically have to look at the body of work that she's done since The Fifth Element, and then you have to be like, okay, this is what I'm signing up for. I'm okay with that. Go into that movie and enjoy it. If you go, I mean,
and also look at The Fifth Element. She needed to act bewildered and not speak English. Great, nailed it. Like
it's still her best movie.
Yeah, totally. It's like,
but that movie is completely carried by Bruce Willis and Chris Rock. So
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
Chris.
You know, it's what
Chris Rock doing that. Jeez, that would have been bad. Never mind.
But it's one of those things.
I kind of want to see that now.
They just make a list of all the movies The Rock should be in.
Her best movie is her walking around looking confused. You know, like, okay, great, nailed it.
And saying multi-pass.
To be fair, though, Zach, to her, at the time when that movie came out, she was sort of a revelation of a girl bad like doing the fighting and doing her own choreography. Like, that was something that you didn't really see back then. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to give her a little bit of credit for what hurdle, I guess, for women she did do in the action genre. But the problem is, just like Will Ferrell, eventually you've got to move on to something else to show that you have range, and she has yet to do that.
Also, that movie came out 21 years ago.
Exactly.
You know,
she's had plenty of time.
She's in great shape, by the way, for how freaking old she is.
Yeah. I mean, she's got to be 50 or late 40s at least, right?
Yeah.
And the only reason we're talking this much crap about it is because like there's 10 million degrees of separation, the internet and a podcast that she's never going to listen to away, because otherwise she would probably just knock your ass out if you were going to
boxing roundhouse kick or something. Yeah,
fair point.
I've seen 2 of those Resident Evil movies. She looks tough. Yeah.
Well, didn't she get in trouble for punching one of the directors for saying she wasn't trying hard enough in the movie?
That'd be funny. And I will say the first Resident Evil movie was pretty rad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I liked that first one. That was a good one.
I didn't feel it.
Dude, the laser grid scene. The laser grid scene was so cool.
Now I did like the Silent Hill movie, the first one. I thought that one was okay.
Those sirens freaked me the hell out.
I think it's like the 4th or the 5th Resident Evil movie that I didn't hate, and that it was because. Well, and the only reason is because they started bringing in like Leon Kennedy and Chris Redfield. Like both of those characters are in the movie too. Like, and so it was just kind of cool to have those characters. It's like, you know, it's kind of like your nerdy dreams
like
of
fanfic coming out.
Yeah, that's all it was. But gosh, those movies.
Yeah, Resident Evil kind of was like Saw for me, where I saw the first 2 and went, "Oh, you guys are gonna keep doing this." Yep. Okay, yeah, I'm good.
I think I got through 3 of them, and then I just stopped.
I've seen all 8. What up?
Oof.
Wow.
I've seen all 8.
I've seen them all. Yeah, I've seen them all on USA while I've been folding my laundry. It's fine.
My brothers and I had a tradition that we would go. We went and saw it every year on Halloween together, and then this one came. Go ahead.
Why'd you hate your brothers that much?
They're the ones who dragged me there, and it's straight up torture porn. I have nothing positive to say about those movies except for the first one. The first one's great. The first one is truly.
Oh, we're still talking about Saw, right?
Saw, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, except for the whole part at the end where he could have grabbed the phone using the saw instead of cutting his leg off with it, but that part never made much sense to me. You're holding a hacksaw. The phone's 6 inches out of your reach. Just scoop. There it is. Oh, hey, look, I got a phone.
That's a fair point.
I remember being in the theater, like, just grab the phone. What do you grab the phone? Just grab the phone.
But you know, just Jeremy Lin, not Jeremy Lin. That's a basketball player.
Amazing hair, by the way.
Yes, but whoever the director is, he's the director who made the Conjuring movies.
Justin Lin. Is it Justin Lin?
Maybe, but I just love the first Saw. The rest of them I can never.
I like the
watch
first
again
Saw
and be
as well.
happy.
I thought the first. Actually, I kind of like the second one too, but everyone after that I didn't really care for.
Yeah, the second one was decent, but James Wan is the name.
James Wan.
Thank you.
But everyone, like by the end of Saw 2, it was just like it was kind of like Paranormal Activity. It was the same way. It was just one of those like, oh, you're just going to keep making this movie over and over again. Okay, I got it.
Man, I love that first Paranormal Activity though.
That first Paranormal Activity was badass. Like, that was a good one.
They spent $10,000 and they made millions. Like, oh yeah, oh man, I
remember seeing Blair Witch, but it was like 8 months before it hit wide release, and it was in like this crappy little. It was the Aquarius Theater in Palo Alto. If Shannon knows what I'm talking about, and it was one of those like 2 nights only, and the director was there, and they were selling it hard that it was real. Like and at that time there was nothing like they had built all this fake like so if you went to go search for it, they had like random newspapers that had articles about this Blair Witch and like like history and like cryptozoology and stuff like sprinkled throughout the internet. So if you just did a Google search, or actually at that time it was probably Yahoo or fucking Ask Jeeves or something.
Ask Jeeves, yeah.
Yeah. But like if you did one of those, you would find stuff. Like you would literally find things that didn't seem associated to this movie. And so that movie, when you have that in your head that like what you just saw was real, scared the fuck out of people. Like it was just one of those things where like people came out of that theater just shook. Like,
are you talking about Blair Witch or Paranormal?
Blair Witch.
Well,
yeah, when I saw Blair Witch,
if you remember, they did the same thing for Paranormal. Maybe not to the degree of Blair Witch, but like I remember, I firmly believed going in that was a real story that I was about to see. Like I firmly believed it, and I went in with a few, like 4 or 5 guy friends, and all of us were like, "Hey man, let's go hang out and play video games for a little bit, man. I can't. I ain't ready to go to sleep
together
right
with the lights on."
Yeah,
Well,
let's hang out, and drink some Kool-Aid. Like, let's have some fun together. But I love that we're talking so much about movies on a video game podcast.
Yeah, because we have the freedom to do so now. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, let's move on. So Sony has officially released the list of the 20 titles included in that little PlayStation Mini Classic guide that they have coming out in December. Now, they're taking a crack at Nintendo's success. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if they're actually going to reach Nintendo's success with this. We'll find out. But so they have the 20 titles here, and I'm going to rattle them off real quick. Ballerina Toshinden, Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy VII, Grand Theft Auto, Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, Rayman, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Revelations, Persona, Ridge Racer Type 4, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Siphon Filter, Tekken 3, Rainbow Six, Twisted Metal, and Wild Arms. Now, this list has been getting a lot of hate, so I want you guys to go ahead and let me know what you think here. Do you guys think this is worth $99? Are there any games you're surprised to see or not surprised that are here?
Hell no, it ain't worth $99.
I'm in the same boat.
Like, I mean,
I wouldn't pay $30 for that.
Like, I mean, and look, like I don't want to cast aspersions too early, because we have no idea how much trouble they're having to go through with the rights and the music and games. Like, that's why Tony Hawk isn't in here, because of the music stuff. Like, I understand that there's a lot of hoops that they had to jump through for this stuff, but there's only 2 games on here that I could even consider myself playing, and that's Persona and Wild Arms, and that's just because I never played them.
Yeah.
The rest of these other games I can get on Vita. I actually probably own half these on my Vita. And the fact that they're releasing Resident Evil Director's Cut after just releasing Resident Evil Director's Cut on the on PlayStation Plus earlier this year is just asinine to me. Like, this is a waste of an opportunity.
It's also one of those things like Ballerina Toshinden's bad. Like, that's a bad game.
So is Grand Theft Auto 1. Like, that game has aged terribly. See, it seems like
the original Siphon Filter is rough.
Yeah.
Like rough.
Rainbow Six was never good on console to begin with, let alone on a PlayStation. So that was a really weird. So it seems like to me they tried too hard to get like the start of franchises on here, other than like nostalgic PlayStation
Did you see
games.
the Japanese? Did you see the Japanese list? It's so much better. Like now that's coming from the JRPG guy, but like there's a lot more JRPGs on that one, and they're like ones that I had never played or ones that I remember fondly of. Like it's a much better list, but that's beside the point. This is $99 is just too much for these games.
Yeah,
straight up.
Yeah, like, I don't understand why.
Sorry, Josh.
You're fine.
Before I lose the thread, just to Robbie's point, where's Chrono Cross?
Oh my gosh!
Like, where's Chrono Cross? Where's
Jet Moto?
Jet Moto big Jet Moto one?
Yeah, and why Twisted Metal 1 and not Twisted Metal 2? Why Destruction Derby, not Destruction Derby 2? Like those were all significantly better games.
Or games that had a very unique look that would still translate. Like Battle Arena Toshinden looks like bullshit now. Like even Tekken 3 on this system looks like total garbage.
For fighting games, Tekken 3 was all you needed on here.
Yeah,
and
really.
Why not Final Fantasy 8 also, or
9,
or 9, the best one,
or 9? That's perfectly valid. Like put them all three together. Like even if they took off Mr. Driller and took off Intelligent Cube and they put Final Fantasy 8 and 9, and it was maybe $60, I would even consider it. I'm not even gonna lie, I would consider it because I would love to play 8 and 9. I never finished 9, so I would love to go back and play 8 and 9. But man, Ridge Racer Type 4, like Super Puzzle Fighter 2, like what the hell are these games?
I mean, Super Puzzle Fighter, I'll give that one.
Ridge Racer Type 4 is probably the best racing game on PlayStation, I think, other than like Gran Turismo. But like I'm looking at stuff like Rayman. Like why didn't you put like Tomba or something like that would have been significantly cooler? That was more PlayStation. Because Rayman was on all kinds of stuff, PC, Saturn. It was ported to other stuff. Like Tomba, you can only get on PlayStation. Why didn't they put more stuff like that on there?
And I know I beat the drum for this all the time, but like Fear Effect had a great look and a great visual like acuity that would translate still. Like it wouldn't look super dated.
Where's 7-Up Spot? Where's 7-Up Spot at?
7-Up Spot.
Where's that game?
Where's McKids, man? What the fuck? Where's McKids?
I just
y'all got that Noid?
I look at this list and here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that they just made a mistake. They picked a bad list. What I'm hoping it's not doing is they purposely gave us this list so next year they can give us a second version of this that has better games
and analog sticks.
Yeah, and analog sticks. Like I can easily see that happen. But like to me, like the PlayStation is my first system. Like that's the first system I ever owned. And the fact that Legend of Dragoon is not on this just irked me to no end.
Yeah, and that's a game that kind of defined PlayStation. Like that's a game you could only get on that console. Why is that kind of stuff not here? Why is Brave Fencer and Musashi not here? Like there's just stuff on here that you can get on other systems. It's just stuff that to me looks like they were just starting to like give you the first of like a franchise and just give you a bunch of that stuff, and that was it. Well, I don't know.
The other issue I think Sony is going to come across in this, and I mean, they're obviously counting on nostalgia carrying the load here, but people are going to spend $100 and realize those controllers were bad. These graphics are bad. A lot of this does not play like you remember it playing in any way. And a lot
as much as I hate to say it, an N64 classic would probably suffer the same fate.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's why the SNES classic, which I did get one. I mean, look, I haven't played it a lot, but I've maybe played it 3 times. But the 3 times I played it was with my niece and my nephew, and that's why I bought it. I bought it to play with my niece and nephew and my son.
I spent more time hacking it than actually playing it.
That's awesome. But like, I have no desire to buy this to play with Elijah. Like, there's no game on there. Like Metal Gear Solid, I can play that on my PS3, or I can play it on my Vita.
The remastered version that actually looks better.
The one you bought like 16 times.
Yeah.
You shut up, Shannon. You shut up. Metal Gear Solid.
All right. Well,
greatest story ever told.
Why did you have to get? Well, I knew you were going to say something. I knew you can't go an episode of talking about video games without bringing up Metal Gear in some way, shape, or form.
Hey, look, it's on this list now. And I do agree. Like, I mean, that is one game that that and Final Fantasy VII. I will say, like, those are two games that had to be on here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, what did they get right? We've been bashing them. Like, I think Wild Arms is good.
Wild Arms is good.
Tekken 3 is definitely a good one.
I like Puzzle Fighter. That's a
Puzzle Fighter is solid. Like,
yeah, I think Cool Borders 2 is a good choice too. That was a big.
That's the better version. That's a better game anyway. Yeah,
I like 3 more, but I'll take 2. That's fine. At least it wasn't 1.
All right, but we're up to 4.
Yeah, Jumping Flash was a unique PlayStation game. I'll give them that one.
And to what I was saying earlier, it's got a visual style that still carries. So
and it's a gameplay type that you don't really see anymore. Like, actually, it was very unique then, and it still kind of is.
So actually, Josh, you got me thinking though when you said an N64 classic would suffer the same fate. I think they would be better served at this juncture, making an N64 classic that's nothing but remasters and only have like 10 of them. Have everything just kind of redone, have the graphics be what you remember them being, not what they actually are.
Yeah.
And sell me that. Give me 10 games with Mario 64, but the cleaned up high res 720p version. Give me Banjo-Kazooie with like that. Give me all that. Give me Diddy Kong Racing like that.
And if we got an N64 classic, how much do you want to bet they're not going to touch that controller at all? It'll still have the same plasticky analog stick that will wear out after like 10 hours of playing the damn thing.
Sure.
Like, they would have to redesign that in order for me to get interested, because I hate that analog stick.
And they would have to put certain games on there, for me at least, that I don't think they can. Like,
all the
like anything rare. Yeah, you can't do it without rare titles.
Like, I would want them to put Blitz on there, and I don't think they can, because of they would have to get NFL rights.
And Midway went belly up, so. And
they would have to put. I mean, they would have to put Goldeneye on there, but I have no idea what they'd have to go through to get that on there.
Banjo-Kazooie would need to be on there, and Microsoft owns the rights to that, so.
But it would have Wave Race, so.
Yeah.
I honestly, the next two classics that I would even consider looking at would be PS2 or GameCube, because I think there's just a lot of unique games on GameCube that a lot of people either didn't play or never really heard of. Like, Zach, you know where I'm going with this, but Eternal Darkness has to be on a GameCube. Like, I need that game remade or remastered.
I would rather have a Dreamcast classic, honestly.
Oh yes,
of course. I mean,
but see, that's the thing is, like, this is the area.
Fishing controller. Give me the fishing controller.
This is the area though where, like, my nostalgia is gonna get ruined pretty hardcore if they start coming out with these remakes, like, of all these consoles, because I'm gonna sit there, like, with the PlayStation, like Final Fantasy VII, I'm gonna make the concession, like, my nostalgia does a lot. Like, my nostalgia goggles are heavy with that game, and I would hate to see a lot of the PlayStation 2 games that I enjoyed so much, like, just looking like Dookie, like on a console. Like,
all these games I can get on my Vita, and that's my ultimate problem. Is I believe that I can get every one of these games on my Vita,
and they all belong on a screen about that big now.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, so I guess no one's buying this, right? It's safe to say. All right. No. All right. Cool. We'll move on then. Now, BlizzCon happened this weekend, and we got a few interesting announcements, including a new Overwatch hero named Ashe. Unfortunately, Elena's not here to talk about that. I know she'd want to. We also got an announcement of Warcraft 3 Reforged, which is a pseudo remake of Warcraft 3, which looks really good. So
I cannot read you the text exchange that I had with my brother when they announced that.
Yeah,
I shared it with Zach. It
was graphic. I'll put it that way.
We'll just say we were very excited. Let's just say
I'm excited for that one too, because it's probably the one I played the least out of the 3. So, a lot of that would be. I still own Warcraft 3, but just the fact that it's got a new shiny coat of paint will probably make me go back to it. So
StarCraft is my all-time favorite RTS, just for the amount of time and breadth and depth of the systems.
Mine was Warcraft 2. I put a ton of hours into that game.
But Warcraft 3, I will say is probably a better game.
Yeah, it had
Like,
RPG elements and stuff that kind of made it more engaging. Yeah.
As far as single player goes.
Warcraft 3 and Red Alert 2 were the two games that my brothers and I would rotate. We would change the discs out over and over again, just because we wanted to play something different all the time.
Come on, EA, give me Red Alert 2 remastered.
Bro, just
remember that opening soundtrack?
Yes,
that everyone thought was Metallica and it wasn't.
Or the FMV, the FMV in Red Alert 2 is so freaking good.
Those cutscenes were so corny, but like awesome at the same time.
Hey guys, let's stop the show and go play Red Alert 2. Let's go.
I think I still own that game too.
I still have it.
My question for the Warcraft 3 is what the online support is going to be like. Because back then I didn't play it online because we didn't really have that capability in my house. So I'm curious if they will have servers up for this, because
they'll have to. Yeah.
Because if they do, Zach and myself are going to be going to war on a regular basis.
Oh yeah. It's happening.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So here's the thing. They announced a new game, a new Diablo game. But unfortunately, it was a mobile game called Diablo Immortal, and it's coming to smartphones at some undisclosed time. Now, fans
before we get to the it sounds rad. Like, I want to play this. Like,
when it was first announced, I'm like, okay, that looks kind of cool. I'll give that a shot, right? And I'm well known to be a mobile game hater. Like, I don't like playing games on my cell phone. So when I saw it, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that looks kind of cool. That might work. I'll give it a shot. So here's the problem. The fans went into an absolute frenzy over this because they were expecting a Diablo 4 announcement, and Blizzard was sort of hinting at one prior to BlizzCon. So they kind of gave everyone's hopes up and then just threw this mobile game at us. The community was heated over this thing, hardcore. Like I haven't seen people this angry in a while. And I want to ask you guys, do you think it was warranted that people got so mad over this, or was it not warranted? And do you think it was fine? Like, what do you guys think about this whole backlash to this game?
Well, while Blizzard did say that they were going to have announcements regarding Diablo, they also said that they weren't going to have any major announcements regarding the Diablo franchise. Yeah. So if you walk into this like expecting to hear something like big, you have nobody to blame but yourself for your disappointment. As far as, you know, being upset with what did come out of the conference, I don't know what else to say about that. It's just,
I think today in today's climate, gamers need to chill the hell out because they don't have any stock. They don't have anything to do with the game being made. And so the backlash, I think, is a little bit overblown in the first place. But as far as disappointment, I mean, look, we all went to E3. We love E3. It's our favorite time of the year. I get upset at things like this. But yeah, I don't know what people were expecting. From Diablo 2 to Diablo 3 was 12 years. And we're only 6 years in between Diablo 3 and the next Diablo game. So the fact that they didn't announce one shouldn't shock anyone. So like, I don't understand that. But with that said, they didn't do a good job because they teased something epic. And then they told us, well, hey, hold your horses. It's not really what you think. Well, then don't make it sound like it's some epic new thing that we're going to all get excited about. So, like, in a way, I felt misled when it ended up being just a mobile game because I thought it was going to be a Diablo 2 remaster. That's what I thought it was going to be.
That would have been so awesome, too, because that one's my favorite Diablo game. I would have loved a remaster of that.
Yeah. So, but, like, I didn't get pissed off or be like, screw them. I thought, and I could be completely wrong, but I felt like it was one of the more un-Blizzard-like things to do.
I definitely think making it their major announcement at BlizzCon was a mistake. Because the primary audience at BlizzCon are hardcore PC gamers that are going to be there.
That's not a friendly audience.
And you can tell by their reaction that was a mistake. Now, I want Diablo 4 just as much as anyone else does because that is my favorite Blizzard franchise, has always been, is Diablo. I've been playing that series since #1 on PC. And you know, when I saw the mobile game, I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And yeah, I would have rather had Diablo 4 pop up. And yeah, this wasn't a good place, but I think people are overreacting. Like to see some of the people stand up in the Q&A and kind of shit on the developers for this, like, it's not their fault. They were probably told to make this game. I'm sure they didn't want to make a mobile Diablo game, you know?
But if they did, who cares? Like, that's my point is Blizzard doesn't owe you a goddamn thing.
Nope.
Like, you know,
and they're one of the best developers in the world. They put more effort into games than almost they keep up with games better than anyone else in the world. Like, and I'm sorry, but that's just a fact. The fact they still support Diablo 2. Like, that game still gets support in some form or fashion. You know, like it. So I agree with you, Zach. Like, they don't owe me a freaking thing. No, like, they don't owe me nothing.
And it's one of those, like, this gross, like, is this an April Fool's joke entitlement? Like, go fuck yourself, dude. Like, you know, like,
I felt so bad for that guy on stage, and like the whole entire like speech that he was giving after that happened, like he just screwed up. Like, you just messed that guy's whole presentation up, you know. And it's not his fault, man. He's just trying to make the damn game here. And like, why can't we just give it an honest shot? You know, like, I'm giving it. I'm the most anti-mobile game guy ever, and I'm willing to give it a fair shake. Why can't anyone else do that?
Yeah, those photos of the game testing booth or the game testing area with the mobile devices set up, where there's only like 5 people out of like 300 like spots open trying it was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I just felt bad for him.
It was definitely not an end of show announcement. It just wasn't. You know, like, they should have learned from what happened with Microsoft at E3 when they announced the Gears of War, you know, the Gears of War strategy game, then Gears of War mobile, and everyone was like, what? You know, like, that should have been the tip off to the ripoff for Blizzard, that like, hey, maybe the hardcore conference for your most embedded fans isn't the place to, you know, this is an announcement for when they announced the new iPhone. This is the announcement about like Google World. You know, like, this is when you do that. You don't do that at BlizzCon. And because I think they're all shitty people, but those are the people that go there. You know, like, the people that are going to like openly accuse developers of fucking them over, even though they don't owe you a goddamn thing. Like, those are the people that are going to show up to BlizzCon. You know, that it's just how it is.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's overblown, and I don't think I just think the whole thing is kind of silly, to be honest with you. I'm willing to give this game a fair shot, and I hope other people will too. But we know it's going to be, there's going to be littered with microtransactions. I mean, like, it's just it's the Activision way. They're going to put it in there.
As someone who hates card games, like, I'm just not big into card games. I played the hell out of Hearthstone, like, you know, like, so I just say that to say that I trust Blizzard to give me a competent game that actually may entice people who don't otherwise like those kind of games. Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, we can all agree this should not have been their main game to announce. And I don't care what they came out and said. I don't believe that this was originally their main title. I don't believe that.
Well, I think Jason Schreier from Kotaku like released an article where he basically said that Blizzard told him that they pulled the announcement of Diablo 4 at the last minute.
Yeah, two people who apparently work there anonymously said that they were originally going to do it, and then they pulled it last minute.
Well, probably because it wasn't running right. You know, that's probably one of those things. Or it looked
like crap or something like that.
Or it was something they couldn't get a vertical slice running on show floor for people to play, you know, or something. Like, there was some reason that it just didn't work, rather than like, well, we're just going to hold it till next year, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But hopefully Diablo 4 is coming. Hopefully we'll get an announcement for that next year, because I'm really stoked for that. And we know they're making it. Like, it's been confirmed pretty much. They just haven't really announced it yet. But anyways, all right, guys, let's move on to our weekly consultation. This is the segment of the show where we talk about all the games that we're playing now. We're going to open this bad boy up with Red Dead Redemption 2. And who's been playing this? Is just me and Shannon been playing this one?
No, I have.
Okay, gotcha. So there's three of us.
I'll check in when you guys in about a half hour.
Okay, gotcha. Now, So for anyone that isn't in the know, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a prequel to Red Dead Redemption, the one from last generation. And that was one of my top 5 favorite games for the entire last generation. I love the story in that game, and I thought it had one of the best endings, and I was a big fan of that game. Now, Red Dead Redemption 2 takes place, John Marston from the first game's in it, but it's all about his gang that is led by Dutch, who is the guy that you kill at the end of Red Dead Redemption. He was like the main bad guy you had to take out. So this is the story of how that gang was it became a thing, and the stuff, the trials and tribulations they went through, and then how they kind of disbanded and stuff. And you play as a different character named Arthur Morgan. So that's how the game pretty much opens up, is that you're with this gang, you're trying to survive a snowstorm together, and then you get out of it, and then you start off, you're on the run from Pinkertons and lawmen and all these people that are out to stop these outlaws from doing their thing. It's sort of that turn of the century kind of thing. So now, Shannon, I'm going to throw it your way and let you start here. So what are your thoughts on this game so far?
It's slow. It's very slow.
Yeah, it is very slow. Yes.
I haven't gotten too far into it because it's not holding my attention right now, and I know it's a very meaty game. And I know everybody said that I just got to get through the first chapter or two before it really starts to pick up and do your thing. But I got Dragon Quest still that I'm playing. I have Pokemon that's coming out soon. I have the Tetris Effect I've been playing. I have Forza Horizon 4 I've been playing. Like, my plate's full. Like, I want to enjoy this game, but it's not getting my attention right now. So, I like the aesthetics of it. I like the controls. A lot of people have said that they feel sluggish, and they feel kind of disjointed and disconnected, like when you're on the horse and you have to shoot, or just shooting in general, like the gunfire or the gunplay. But I like it. It seems pretty snappy and accurate when I'm shooting stuff. So I can't really say much more about the game other than maybe the first couple hours of it. But yeah, it's not grabbing me the way I thought it would. I'm kind of disappointed.
Okay, what about you, Robby?
Okay, I am someone who really, 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 really wanted to love the first Red Dead Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
But it just took too freaking long for the Mexico saga to end or begin.
It's a common complaint.
The map turned oh, here's Mexico, and I was like, yep, I'm out.
Yeah,
that was it.
But I cheated and went and watched the last story beats of it, and I was like, hey man, this would have ended up being an epic story for me to play. But the gameplay just was kind of boring for me to play. So going into this, hearing all these incredible reviews, hearing all these awesome things about it, I just couldn't help myself. I got it because I'm curious. I just don't think, and I'm going to talk about another game in a minute that I kind of feel the same way. I don't feel like they respect my time.
Yeah. And
the game is beautiful. The world is incredible. The animations are amazing. There are so many great and wonderful things that I can say about this game. However, it's more of a simulation than it is a game to me. And I understand that it's purposeful of how slow things are and how you're supposed to be walking slow because that's what they did back then, and I get that. I'm not ignorant to that, and I'm the guy who loves narrative over gameplay 99% of the time.
Yeah,
but this gameplay, I'm going to keep playing. I'm hell bent on forcing myself to finish this game because I want to see this epic narrative that many have called the greatest Western ever told. I want to see what that is because I do love Westerns. I think they're awesome. But, man, I just don't know if it's fun to play.
I'm right with you, man. And as someone who generally likes Rockstar games, this game's first, I would say 4 or 5 hours is an absolute slog to play through. Now, I love the story. The characters are great. The voice acting's fantastic. You know, that's keeping me engaged. But the gameplay is so slow, and just the controls, the character feels like he's made out of 10-ton bricks. There's so many animations here that it makes everything so long to just for basic actions to happen. There's so many realistic takes on everything that I feel like it's becoming less of a game and, like you said, more of a simulation, like a cowboy simulator. The fact that I have to clean my guns all the time, that I have to feed my horse, that I have to feed myself, you know, and like all this stuff that they make me do is just not fun for me. Now, once I finally got through that first chapter and I got maybe about halfway through the second one, the game started kicking in and I actually started to enjoy it a lot more. But the problem is it's still slow paced. The missions still aren't super satisfying to play. And the only thing that's keeping me here is the story and the characters. And that's it. But
the characters are great. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and Arthur Morgan's fantastic, and his voice actor's
he's
fantastic.
better than John Marston's.
Yeah, and once you put him next to John Marston, you'll start to realize how annoying John Marston actually really is too. Like, they blow him out of the water in this game, and it's beautiful. Like, this is probably, someone put it the best I read online. They said this is a game that looks like it was made in 2021, but it has the gameplay of a game from 2005. That I couldn't say it better myself. That's how this game feels. The controls are very confusing. They're sluggish. They're not super tight. This is a game that if I walk away from it, I'm going to forget how to play this game super easy. There's so many cutscenes and there's so many animations to everything that every mission takes like an hour longer than it should to complete. I'm 8 hours into the game right now, and I'm 27% done with the story. So I still have a long ways to go. And while I would love to see this game to the end for the story beats, I just don't see myself putting in 60 hours to finish a game that feels this slow. Now, a lot of people are complaining that Assassin's Creed Odyssey is a grindy game and everything, but at least with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I'm having fun the entire time I'm playing it. This game, I'm not. I feel like I'm pushing through just to get more story, but the enjoyment's not there for me. And I'm not going to say that this is a bad game at all. It's actually a rather good game.
Yes.
And it works better as a cinematic like masterpiece than it does like just a fun game to play. And I'm not going to give up on it. But as of right now, I'm shelving it. After 8 hours, I'm going to shelve it, and I'm going to come back to it later before our Game of the Year talks, because there's so much more games right now that I'd rather be playing than this, that I actually enjoy more playing more than just watching.
Yeah, I echo, you know, you're quite a bit farther ahead of me, but I don't know. It goes back to what I talk about all the time with Telltale games, and what I go about talking about with Bethesda and the Fallout games, is that there's always something missing. They always miss something. Like Telltale, the game's not really fun to play, but the stories are awesome. You know, the stories are awesome to get through. Hence the reason why now they're bankrupt. You know, Bethesda, Bethesda with the Fallout games, like the story is awesome, the world is great, the RPG elements are really cool, but it's not fun to shoot. It's not fun to really play because they haven't updated the game mechanics to a lot, you know, in a lot of degree. And I'm sure, and I better sure as hell not have the same problem when Skyrim or Elder Scrolls 6 comes out in 2025. But here they have this massive world. They have some of the best animations I've ever seen in a game. It might be the most gorgeous game I've ever played, and I'm not even playing it on PC. Like, I'm playing it on just a normal console. But the gameplay is just not fun.
Well, I think you hit, if I can jump in here real quick. I think you touched on something when you invoked Telltale and Bethesda. It circles back to what Josh was talking earlier, with the fact that while these games look stunning and they're very visually impressive, you're talking about gameplay from 2 generations ago, like Bethesda games, like Telltale games, and now like this game. And I think that it seems, not being the one here that isn't playing it, it seems that Rockstar put a bunch of resources into modernizing everything but how you actually do things.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a problem in today's world.
Yeah, and the game feels more like a simulator, like a simulation, like a survival game at times, you know. And with so much of this extracurricular crap that they make you like force you into, it's just it doesn't feel like they focused on gameplay.
Button. Like in sprinting, like you can't even really sprint.
And when you do run, he's super slow. Yeah, and every time you go to a location to start like a shootout or whatever you have to do, like you have to sit through these constant cutscenes of just dialogue and stuff, and it takes forever to get there, and that just it pads out the game so much to where you're spending more time sitting and just holding up on the analog stick before you can actually start doing things, that it makes it just boring. You know, even though, again, I'm loving the story and everything, you know, and the characters, but if I'm not having fun playing the game, then we have a big problem here. Yeah. So for that reason alone, like when I see all these 10 out of 10s and stuff, like I question that. Like, how are people getting 10 out of 10s out of this? It's just, is anyone afraid to call this game out for what it really is?
I'm also wondering if it's one of those things where, you know, people are reviewing this game played 60 hours in like 3 days, you know, or something like that. And maybe by the hour 60, it's amazing. Yeah. And it is great. And it's that lasting impression that people are taking away.
And I would argue that Red Dead Redemption 1's ending is what really elevated it to greatness. So you can, and I've heard this game has a pretty incredible ending as well. The epilogue is 2 chapters long, and I've heard it's pretty awesome. And that's why I want to stick with it and get there. And I am enjoying the game now. Like, it is getting more fun, but it's still not blowing my mind, you know. And it's I'm questioning why people are giving this so high, because the game's very divisive. If you look at other communities, like there's people who are complaining about the exact same things we are.
And I'll be honest. Everything you guys are saying tells me I'll never play this game. It's just, I don't want to. Like, nothing you're telling me is interesting. Nothing you're saying is like, oh, that's something I should see and check out. It's like, nah, this sounds like a whole bunch of work that I don't have time for. So
and that's why I called this game the anti-Zach, because like you always say, you need a game that's going to respect your time. This game does not do that.
No, it doesn't honor your time. And Josh, to your point, and look, this could be a whole nother topic. I understand that could go on for hours, but it is interesting to me that so many outlets, websites, have given this a perfect score game when it is not a perfect game. It's almost like they're ignoring the gameplay just because the story and the world and how massive it is. Like, a video game is a game. And like, I understand again that I'm the one who usually defends narrative over gameplay, but when the gameplay is hindering me from enjoying the narrative, there is a problem. And IGN, Polygon, Kotaku, Giant Bomb, like all these guys are giving this game perfect scores. And do you just not want to be an outlier against this behemoth of a game? Like,
that's what I'm thinking too. Like, you're afraid to call out, you know, this game because it's so huge, you know. I don't know. I don't want to accuse them of that, but like it makes it fishy to me.
Yeah, because look, you know, a lot of people gave Uncharted 3 a perfect score when it came out. And
well, to be fair, a lot of people don't use 10s as perfect. They use it as top quality.
It's the goal that it was trying to achieve, and I get that. But a lot of people put in this, like in their reviews, the greatest RPG or greatest open world game ever made. And I'm going to tell you right now, The Witcher 3 was way more fun for me to play than this is.
I agree. I like Witcher a lot more than this.
They didn't say the most fun open world game ever made.
No. I guess that's fair. Josh, is it okay? Like, unless you want to continue, is it okay if I go ahead and go to Assassin's Creed Odyssey?
Absolutely, man. Well, I think we've said everything we want to say about this game. So I think that's 3 of us here that like it but not love it.
Yeah,
pretty much. So
and I am, like I said, I am hell bent. Even if it takes me until the end of December, I'm going to finish this game because I do want to see the narrative out. I want to see it through.
That's why I'm going to shelve it and come back to it later. So hopefully I'll get there, but we'll see.
So
All right,
I've been spending the majority of my time before I dove into this a little bit. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I've been playing this too.
I have it on PC.
I really need to get back to it.
Yeah, I have it on PC as well.
I'm going to say my negative first, and then I'm going to go through my litany of positives because I have way more positives than I do negatives.
Sure.
I still think this game is a culprit of what Red Dead is, and it doesn't respect my time.
Mhm.
And at times it feels like it's just fetching quest after fetching quest after fetching quest, and it's like they had a tight 20-hour game, and they added a bunch of BS filler to make it a 40-hour game.
Robby, I got a product for you, man. It's only $9.99.
What is that?
The XP boost.
No, screw that, man.
I bought the XP boost.
Okay.
But I got the PC version dirt cheap, so like it kind of offset the cost anyways. Like it was fine, but it makes the game move much faster.
Okay, well then I didn't pay a single dime for this, so
okay, well there you go.
Yeah,
Are you using Google Stream?
What is that?
Okay, so because that's how I'm playing it. I got it in the beta for Google Stream, and I'm playing it through my Chrome browser, and it's crazy how well it works. But yeah,
I have a buddy who worked at GameStop who got a copy of this game for PS4, Xbox, and PC at the at GameStop conference, and so he gave me the PC copy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and but I just feel like the game does not respect my time, and I don't think the story is nearly as compelling as Origins was. And
you loved Origins, right?
Oh man, I freaking love that.
I like this more than Origins.
Okay, or then let me ask you, what do you like more?
I like
story-wise, or okay.
I like the world and the story better. I don't like the main character. I'm playing as Cassandra.
I'm playing as
like
Lexios.
Okay, yes, yeah. So I don't like her as much as was
Bayek.
But yeah, I don't like her as much as him. But I still think she's fine, you know. But I just like the story and the setting a lot more here, and I like that they went a little less historical, a little more fantastical with it.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that.
Yeah, and some of the quality of life stuff too, with like the RPG elements and stuff, you know, and the combat I like it more as well. So I've liked this game more. I mean, you guys know how much of an Assassin's Creed hater I always was. And this game has done it more for me than anyone in this series has. But sorry, go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say, like, Origins I loved because, spoiler alert, like the opening 2 hours of that game get the hooks in you so well. You know, Zach, I think you play Origins, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Just the story of, these people cause you to kill your son, and now you are out for vengeance. Like, that was just a dope story that I really enjoyed. This one, I'm not saying this one's bad at all, like, because it's not. But Alexios is fine. I don't hate him. Like, I don't think he's some a-hole, like so many people have chalked him up to be. Like, if you choose for him to do a-hole things or say a-hole things, he is an a-hole. But he also can be really nice and just a dumb goofball like every other video game character that we all love. But I did like Bayek more than Alexios. The biggest negative is just that it doesn't respect my time. The story has gotten so much better, though. I think I'm like 12 hours in, and so it has gotten really more enticing, and coming to find out like who's really in the game and who you're connected to and trying to find all that out. That's really awesome and really cool. And I agree with you, Josh. Them going more fantastical is probably the smartest thing they've done, in a while. And,
instead of trying to educate me, you actually start throwing like Medusa and stuff in there.
Yeah.
That kind of grabs my attention more.
Yeah,
I mean, that sounds really dumb of me to say. Like, I don't want to be educated. I want monsters, but I don't know, man. It just worked for me.
No. I completely agree with you. The gameplay is better. The gameplay is so good. It's so tight. And that's why like you said, Josh, it doesn't respect my time, but it's fun to do regardless.
It respects your time if you pay them $10 extra.
Well, that's
I feel nasty for buying that XP boost, but at the same time, it since I have a kid and a full-time career and all this stuff, it's like that takes the game and condenses it down more to make it more playable for me. And to me, that was worth the $10 because I really like what I've played of it.
Yeah, go ahead, Zach. I think you're about to
I was just going to say, could we all agree that this is easily the most surprising game of the year?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yes, because I didn't expect to like it. Yeah,
because when it was announced, I was like, "Oh no,
not another one.
No more Assassin's Creed. They needed a whole nother year between after Origins. Like this was, I was not looking forward to playing it. I didn't play it. Like it was everyone talking about it that made me go, okay, maybe I should actually like pick this up, look at it, see what the whole deal is, and it's just fucking great. Like it's so good.
It's so beautiful. I mean, it's so freaking good looking. It's
really fun to play too.
And what I've said on the show before, so sorry for repeating myself, is it took all the really good parts of Origins and just sanded down the rough edges. Like the combat is just a lot more fun. Like the movement is more fluid. Like the controls themselves just seem a lot more natural compared to Origins. And it's stunning. It really is.
That
like
Spartan kick is so fun.
It is. It's just surprising how good this game is. I didn't see it coming. Just did not see it coming. Like
I see, and I'm the exact opposite of Josh. Like I've played every Assassin's Creed. I'm a huge fan of all of them. Well, except for Unity and the one before Origins. The one in Britain.
Oh, Syndicate. I like Syndicate.
Syndicate was okay.
Syndicate was fine, but like I was getting tired of the combat at that point. Like it was just getting ridiculous. Even though you F some people up with that staff in Syndicate.
The girl is the only way to play Syndicate.
Yeah, that's the problem is one out of the two characters you're forced to play isn't very interesting.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But I'm enjoying this game. I probably will end up beating Odyssey before I really give Red Dead a full run. I just really wanted to have a take since I knew I was going to be on here with you guys. Like I wanted to give Red Dead just, maybe a couple hours just so I would have something to talk about and have a take for it. But Odyssey, you're right, Zach, is probably my biggest surprise of the year because I said last year, and this shows how much of a hypocrite I am. I said when they announced this at E3, I'm not buying that game. I want to endorse them waiting a year in between every game. Like I want them to wait. I don't want them to continue this, what's the word I use?
Annual franchise.
I don't
bull crap.
To oversaturate the market with these games. I'm just tired of that because Origins was so freaking good and it was so much better than the games prior. But then the reviews started coming out and people started talking about how they learned from Origins and got better and they're just, but again, the game still feels like it's 40 hour or 20 to 30 hours longer than it needs to be. Like I'm not even in that part yet where I can say the game's too long, but I feel it. Because I can see the map and I can see the gazillion quests and the gazillion cults and the gazillion mercenaries and all these other things that I have to do. It just feels like they tried to put in so much to fill my time when I could have just had a tight story of 20 hours.
Yeah, I agree. But if I'm going to put 60 hours into a game, I'd rather this than Red Dead.
100% right now.
Because I'm having more fun actually playing the game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, all right. Well, let's move on to the Tetris Effect. Now, I know that Zach is probably
now we're
anxious.
Talking.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
So for anyone who doesn't know what the Tetris Effect is, this game was announced at E3 to a very moving and gorgeous trailer, by the way. Probably one of my favorite game trailers. And this is a rendition of Tetris that was designed by the creator of Luminous and Rez and Space Channel 5, Child of Eden, all that stuff. The game is trying to emulate what is an actual scientific term, I guess, called the Tetris Effect, where they basically use it to describe like when you do something for so much time that you start to see it like in reality and in your dreams and stuff like that. And they say that if you play a crap load of Tetris, you'll start to notice like objects in the world start looking like Tetris blocks to you. If you when you go to bed, like you'll start dreaming of like tetraminos falling from the sky and stuff like that. So this game uses VR and you don't have to have VR to play this game. You can play it outside of VR, but it uses like this dreamlike state to try to emulate the Tetris effect in a video game. And pretty much all what this game is Luminous. It's Luminous, but they pulled Luminous out and they put Tetris in its place. It plays very similar. It's very music based. And they released a demo this weekend. It was just like a 4-day thing where you can try out the game, just like 3 levels of the journey mode and some of the challenge modes to kind of give people a feel of what this is, because it's very unique and it's very different and it's kind of a hard sell unless you play it. Now, Zach, I'm going to throw this at you because I'm actually shocked that you like this game as much as you do.
Well, so I've always been a Tetris fan.
See, that I did not know of you.
Yeah,
that surprised me.
I had both versions on the Nintendo, the Tengen one, the counterfeit Tetris, and the OG Tetris. And, it's like the Game Boy version, Tetris DS, all rock solid games. But then I haven't actually played a Tetris game for a long time. So when this demo came along, I was like, well, let me give this a shot. This is cool. I'm down to play some Tetris. And fired up the demo, got to the journey mode. I'm like, this looks really confusing. I don't know what the hell this. Okay, journey mode. Sure, let's try this. And it's an all black screen, blue Tetris thing in the middle of it. And you start moving the Tetrinos around and putting them down. And it took me about 30 seconds before I was like, oh, I'm like making the music. As I move and rotate things, that's
the exact same way it works in Luminous.
Yeah, it like all of a sudden it just creates the music, and it's like, okay, and so you're going along and you're clearing, and then things start appearing around the board, and all of a sudden it's like a whole underwater thing. Manta rays are coming by, whales are swimming through, and it's just this really, I don't know, like Zen-like experience of playing this, because it is one of those things where you kind of just get in the zone and all of a sudden you start seeing all that stuff, because the game kind of, your brain starts playing the game while you're looking at everything else. It's a very weird experience, very unique experience, where all of a sudden the game almost becomes secondary, because you're just sitting there going like, okay, that's where it goes, and I want to see what's next. Okay, and that's where it goes, and what's next. And now some levels work better than others. I thought the underwater level worked great. I don't know if you played the jellyfish level. It wasn't in the journey mode, but if you go to the other mode, that one worked really well.
That one sucked.
I like that one.
See, I didn't play that one. The only one I played out of like the challenges was the marathon one, where you have to try to get 150 lines cleared. I made it to 117 before I failed.
But the fire one though was incredibly distracting to me. Like I had a hard time with that one.
That one is freaky in VR. I feel like I was in hell.
Yeah, it's that one was almost like, if there could be too much, like it was like someone needs to take that down a notch. That's almost too much. And it's funny. So I played it, I loved it. We were gushing about it on our Slack, and then on the way home Sunday night, I'm like, before this demo goes, because my wife was actually a huge Tetris fan as well. And I was like, I want you to play this demo. Like the only video game she's played in 10 years is either Rock Band or the Lego Jurassic Park games with my kid, so she's not like an avid gamer. I'm like, I want you to play this. And so she got through the 3 levels and she was like, that was way too much. It's horribly distracting. I just want to play Tetris. Like, I don't know what all this is, like why does it have to do all this? And she actually found the 3rd level, the hell level, like upsetting. Like she was actually like, it's actually like I actively dislike this level. Like it was one of those things, and
it was my least favorite of the 3.
But I found it interesting that it was like emotionally upsetting for her. Like she just did not like it, like on a not on a like, oh, that's just not my preference, on like a, no, it feels bad to play this level.
See, that's the whole thing about this game, is the way it makes you feel. It's Tetris, but it plays on your emotions in a strange way.
And that's kind of where I was going with it, because upon playing through it, she played through it all a second time, and on the second pass through, she was like, oh, I kind of understand now that, I'm making the music and it's flowing how I do it, and it goes depending on the combos I make makes things appear in the back. Like it clicked on the second pass through, but she still hated that third level. Like she said that one was just, and I found it very interesting though, that the reaction wasn't that was too hard or that was just too distracting. It was like, no, that felt bad. And I just found that very, very telling of the whole experience.
Yeah.
That second level was miserable to me. I didn't like it either. It just
I like that one because like it's like a little hip hop song, and I was like,
yeah,
I'm sitting there bobbing to it because
but that triangle that keeps like flying at you,
like some Illuminati shit's coming at you.
I thought it was gonna put me into like an epileptic seizure. Like, every time, like I'd be in a line, I was like, I get pulsed. Goddamn.
Yeah, so I was playing this game in VR. Now that's kind of one of the selling points of the game because again, this is a game that you have to kind of play and experience in order to really get what we're talking about here. Now in the VR space, excuse me, I mean I'm sure it's probably played the same way as you're playing it on a TV. But now everything that is around that's on the screen, all these like particle effects that are creating all this imagery and stuff is all around you. And like, so I'm playing Tetris. I'm like, I'm like looking around like I'm on ecstasy or something. And my wife is sitting there in the living room because when I play PlayStation VR, I don't hook it up to the TV because I would think it's stupid because she doesn't really watch me play. No one really does. So like, why have the TV on? So I just strap the headset on and I'm just sitting there like in awe of like what's around me. And she's just looking at me. I can hear her snickering behind me. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know? And then it's like 1 minute, I'm just like, what is this? You know, what is this? Dolphins, you know? And then like 10 minutes later, I'm just sitting there bobbing to the hip hop song. And it's like everything's changing like every time. Then the third one comes in and I'm just like kind of horrified because like this, like there's like these freaky tiki masks staring at me. And then there's these little fire people are like praying and, you know, and I got like 3 different complete moods off of each level out of this. And it reminds me of Luminous. Luminous does the exact same thing. You're moving the blocks, you're placing them, you're creating the music, but the songs and the imagery are playing and they make you feel things. And that's the coolest thing about this game for me is how it plays on my emotions. Like that first song is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And with the ocean theme, I'm not going to lie, the ocean shit kind of freaked me out in VR because all I'm standing is like, I'm looking at the bottom of a sea floor and all I see is the rocks and I don't know what the hell is going to pop out at this point. And I'm just playing Tetris and it's making me nervous. But then like everything's like super beautiful and everything. And I'm just like, I'm in awe. And the game is kind of moving to play at times. And I've listened to this little soundtrack because as soon as I played the demo, I played through the demo, the journey mode 3 times in a row. And I went immediately to the store and pre-ordered the game.
I played through it once and pre-ordered it.
Yeah,
I was like, yep, I need all of this.
Yeah, I'm like, this is the Luminous 4 I've been asking for. But it takes like a darker tone like Luminous Electronic Symphony did on the Vita, and that's my favorite Luminous game. That's one of my top 10 favorite games ever. It has that darker tone, but yet it still plays on your emotions like this game. And like this is pretty much the Luminous 4 I've always asked for. But it's Tetris instead of Luminous blocks, which is fine to me. I don't care. It still has the music and the visuals and all that stuff and the way it progresses through each stage in a different song. And I've been listening to the CD sampler that it comes with, and the music is great. Like I can't wait to hear more. It looks like there's a ton of stages in this thing in the journey mode. Like I am super excited for this. This game is already in my top 10 list, and the game hasn't even came out yet.
Yeah, the one thing that worries me about the game though is similar to RTS type games. Like I love those games, but I'm not good at those games. And I just fear that my barrier to entry on this game is going to be my skill level.
Well, I think it depends on what mode you play. I don't think journey mode is really meant for that. I think it's made for as an experience more than anything. Now, once you hit a certain score, it'll translate to the next song. And I'm sure it'll get harder as you go, but I mean, it's kind of sort of the same with Luminous too. Like it takes you on a ride. You're like a musical visual journey is kind of what this thing's going for. And if you really want to challenge yourself with Tetris, that's what the challenge modes are for.
Now,
I mean, that's
the one thing I wish it would do is actually not stop between songs. Like if it could flow from one song to the next, like even
Luminous does do that.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like I hope that's coming, and that's maybe just the demo thing, but it didn't seem like it. It would it's a moment that removes you from the experience is all. And it would seem like it would flow better, even if it just everything faded away except the board. And then faded back in, but by moving everything in and out, it just kind of it kills it.
I do like the tunnel effect that it does when it translates between boards, like you're an infant and you're like coming out of the womb or something, like the lights coming at the end of the tunnel, you're like you're coming out the end of it, like that's kind of rad, like you're like going to heaven or something. It kind of feels like you're like going down this tunnel of light. That's kind of sweet, but I don't know.
Now the one thing I will say, it, and I touched on it on our conversation earlier, but this game made me like super weirdly nostalgic for like a very specific time in my life, which was when I was about 20, and it was when Golfland was getting like all these super random Konami rhythm games. Like there was, like it was like Guitar Freaks, but then there was like the DJ game and the drumming game and the one where you put your hands over and under the sensors and like a hand dancing type game. And it was like the same feel for a second, where it was just like, okay, I'm doing all this stuff and like going with the music and getting in flow with the music and these very specific actions happening at very specific times. And it was crazy how like all of that just crashed over me, just like wave of nostalgia of that like very specific time in my life, all sitting around just like video games and music specifically. It was just super neat. It was really cool.
And I've always kind of considered Luminous a rhythm game, even though it's a puzzle game, but there's a lot of rhythm aspects to it. And this is no different. Like now you know why I love Luminous so much. Like this is one of the reasons why, because this kind of does the same thing. But it's hard to recommend this to people for $40. I think that's kind of steep for a Tetris game, given it was an easy sell for me just because of who made it. It
seems like an easy recommendation if you have a VR.
Yeah.
If you've got the VR set up, $40 seems like a good price.
Yeah, if you have a PlayStation VR, this is one of the best games I've played in VR so far. It's right up there with Astrobot. Is like something that's really cool to showcase the headset. But for everyone else, $40 for a Tetris game is kind of steep. I mean, I think it's great because I love the guy who made it and that company, and I love this style of game. But at the same time, a lot of people are going to have to get their hands on this and try it in order to really know if they're going to like it or not. And that demo period was perfect, but they should have kept that up.
Yeah,
I think that was a mistake pulling it.
Yeah, and I think like not having the VR, you kind of miss out on a lot of the experience, because I mean you can, I think you can use one of the joysticks to like shift the screen, so you can kind of get like a better view as to what's happening in your surroundings.
Yeah, and you can like shrink and heighten the board and everything too.
But I think a lot of that is I mean, like that's where I kind of was taken out of the experience, is I didn't get to move the screen around to look at what was going on because I was still so immersed in my moves. So I think playing in VR, I think it's a lot more. This game is a lot more. It entices me to go the VR route to play it, and I'd be more inclined to actually want to do this on the VR.
Yeah, and it is really cool in VR. Like I highly recommend if you can try it out that way to play it that way, but it's not necessary. Like you still get the gist of it on a TV too. And apparently the 4K HDR shit's really cool in this game. Nice. So that's another thing too. All right, so Shannon, is there anything else you've been playing, man?
Dragon Quest 11 I've been playing, and that's been taking up most of my time just because it's more of a
nerd.
Yeah.
I want to play this one too, but man, that's just way too much.
I know
this is a next year game,
and I committed to it now because I've played all the other. I probably played 3 of the previous Dragon Quest games, and I've never progressed more than like maybe 8 hours into it, just because something else came along and I didn't want to play it anymore. So this one, I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm committed. I got it. Like, I want to play it.
Xenoblade this bad boy.
Yeah, like I'm gonna Xenoblade this one, and but the one thing that frustrates me about this game is there are missions where in this one your characters get pepped. So if they get beat up a lot, they kind of go into like this this rage where like they all of their abilities get heightened, but only for like 4 or 5 turns. And there are quests that not only are specific to the time of day, but are also specific to certain people in your party being pepped at the same time, so they can do like these combo moves. And I think this is like the big theme of our podcast right now, is that this game, I feel, does not respect my time when it comes to doing those quests, because if some of them, it feels like they're needed to progress like some of your character's abilities and benefits. And like last night, like I only had maybe like an hour to play, but I really wanted to do this one mission that involved 2 of my characters getting pepped, and they were getting hit at different times, so their pep schedules were off, and I couldn't take other people out of my party to make my party smaller to actually force them to get hit at the same time, so that I could just get through this mission. So it
sounds
really
kind of crappy, man.
It was frustrating, you know, and it kind of, you know, really kind of took me out of that story progression. I finally ended up just ditching that mission.
Was it
to go
required?
along. It's not required. It's a side mission, but I think it unlocks like an ability, like another, either like a treasure or an ability for one of the characters.
Yeah.
So, you know, just because like I do want to Xenoblade this game, like I want to do everything in the game, and to be so early on in the game and hit like a bump like that, it's kind of frustrating.
For sure.
So I don't know, like I'm just gonna, I have a spell that lets me go back to places that I've already visited. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is just go through the story, and if I see these 2 people get pepped at the same time, I'm just gonna drop whatever I'm doing, transport back to that one area, and then just complete that mission. So yeah,
I call that spell whiskey.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so I mean that's the only other thing I've been playing other than Forza Horizon 4.
How good is that damn game? God damn it, Forza Horizon 4 is so good.
I love that game, dude. Like I am so good at driving simulators, and like that game, it's just more of that. It just goes right in that vein. So good. Like
hold on. So Robby, you actually tried this game out, right?
I did. I have Game Pass for the Xbox.
So did this convert you? Did it make you a racing game fan?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right, never mind. Go ahead.
Are
Shannon,
you dead
continue.
inside, sir? Are you dead inside?
No,
Yes, I think you are.
but I will say it was probably the most fun I've had with a driving game since Burnout.
Okay.
But I don't have anything negative to say. It's just
It's just not your cup of tea. I can't. It's like rhythm games. Like
except for DJ Hero, I've never really liked any rhythm game. And DJ Hero only because like 99% of the music was hip hop or rap. But again, I will echo what you said. I think when the game came out, Zach, it is the most gorgeous racing game I've ever seen.
Oh, I love that game so much. It's just so good.
It's so fun to play too, and I like how you play it the way you want to. You know, that's the greatest thing, is the options and everything, and they give you the option of how you want to play it, how you want to tweak it to your difficulty and your driving styles, and what missions you think are more fun to do and everything as well. And man, it's a game that gives you so much choice and how you want to play it, and I love it for that as well. And that's another game, man, I desperately need to get back to, because I really want to play more of it.
Yeah, I've put it on hold. Like it's the thing I keep telling myself to not play so I can finish Spider-Man. It's like,
see, that's where I'm at right now, man. Like I want to go back to Spider-Man because
can you guys do that so I can just bitch about the ending with you guys?
All right.
I'm sorry. Did you say complain about the ending?
Yeah, I'm gonna complain about that ending. That ending is
here we
garbage. That ending is straight garbage, sir.
You're garbage. You can go jump in the nearest dumpster, which is also the Cleveland Browns organization, and you can go, or the Oakland Raider organization. And
that's actually more correct. Yeah.
And you can go swim in that, because that thing was awesome.
Oh, dude, like you're a glutton for punishment. You just love like shitty things. Like I'm just gonna say,
whoa,
I'm like,
wow.
We were best friends, and now we're not best friends anymore. Like I seriously want to.
You have a problem with the boss fight, don't you?
Well, I have a problem with the boss fight. I have a problem with how abrupt the ending is. I have a problem with the way it ended. Like, it did not leave, like, my palate was filthy. Like, it just, there was like a bad taste in my mouth and I couldn't get it out. I just didn't like the way, I mean, like, I understand what they were going for. I understand, like, you know, the ethos that they were trying to convey, but at the same time, I just didn't like the route that they took to explain it. And like, there are a lot of, I mean, I understand they're paving the way for a second game, but like, there are a lot of better villains, like other villains that I would rather have them see than maybe going back to Doc Ock. I mean, that's just me though.
So, okay, so I don't. The Doc Ock thing, yes. When we first meet him and you see that he's eventually, I'm not going to spoil anything. Like, he's Doc Ock, like, you know who he is, but he's not Doc Ock when you first meet him.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I'm probably 4 or 5 hours left in the game, and he's steadily been becoming Doc Ock throughout the whole game. Like, it's no surprise.
I prefer this origin and how they did this than I ever did in the comic or I did in Spider-Man 2. I think the way they handle him in this is awesome. I actually could have done without the other characters that come in later. I could have done without that. However, like Spider-Man and God of War right now are my game of the year 1A and 1B. Like, and I didn't have a problem with the ending. I actually loved the secret ending at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. I loved the Black Cat DLC stuff. I'm just shocked that you have disdain for the ending as much as you do.
Hopefully by next week's show, I'll have my own opinion on this ending. So
yeah, I'm going back to Spider-Man as well because I'm more than halfway through it. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to PM you, Robby. So maybe you can shed some light. Maybe you can make me feel a little better about it.
But like Zach and I realized last night, because we were talking about God of War versus Spider-Man, I may just be a little bit more too biased because of what Spider-Man means to me as a comic book character. So, and I'm willing to admit that. So,
well, it's fine. I mean, but like I said, maybe there's something I'm missing. But yeah, I thought it was abrupt. I thought a lot of that ending was rushed. I felt like that could have been hemmed up a little nicer.
And see, I viewed it as I just thought it didn't overstay its welcome. But we can talk more whenever when the game gets farther out. Let's talk more.
Yeah.
Now, Robby, have you been playing anything else you want to get off your chest?
Not really. I'm
baby poop.
Yeah, unfortunately, I hear that my son has woken up and Lisa needs to go to bed. So I have a son that I'm going to be playing with here in a few minutes. But no, I haven't been playing any other video game.
All right. Awesome. Well, that being said, we'll move on to our week in review and wrap this up. Robby, is there anything that's been going on in your life you want to talk about? Just whatever you want, man.
Yeah, Elena.
Okay.
Your constant poo-pooing of Sony and bashing of Sony, specifically during this name change fiasco, needs to end. It needs to stop. Because you continuously refuse to acknowledge the fact that the decisions they made back in the early PS3 era is why they are being hurt by this now. It is not because of bad decisions made now. It's not because they have dumb people working in that office. It's because of something that was made, a decision that was made back in 2004, 2005.
Okay.
And Elena, get off Sony. I'm just saying.
All right.
It will be interesting
to
see.
Will be here next week for you.
It'll be interesting to see when the PS5 rolls out, whenever that is, or whatever that is. It'll be interesting to see if they introduce a complete new network architecture at that time, because they've been bolting things on to this 20-year-old beast for forever, and it's just not working, you know.
Now it was deserved with the Fortnite stuff. Let's be honest.
100%. I'm not talking about that.
They fixed it, but
yes, they buckled.
Yeah.
Sean Layden remembered meeting us in that hallway and remembered, hey, I don't want those guys coming after me. So I'm gonna.
Yes, because you're a big Fortnite fan like I am too, right?
Yes, huge fan. In fact, I'll be jumping back in after a month on Friday when the NFL team skins come out.
Yeah, that was pretty cool that they announced that. Yeah,
I just that was one thing that I wish I could have jumped on with you guys. Just the whole name change thing. Two things. I'm sorry. The name change thing, and then the second thing is where is the retractions and where is not retractions necessarily, but where are the correction articles talking about the realization that there weren't people at Rockstar working 100-hour weeks, that it was hyperbole. And yes, there are some crappy stuff going on there, but it wasn't 100-hour weeks like so many of these articles were coming out with.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the corrections? Where's the hey, we may have jumped on this bandwagon a little too soon.
It's the new media style, man. Like
it's clicks, man.
Yeah, you get your clicks. You don't apologize. It's just Trumponomics.
It's the same reason everyone. It's the same reason everyone celebrated the game. They were bitching about the practices making it. Like it's one of those like, I can't believe Rockstar is working these people to death. But have you seen this amazing game that Rockstar just made? Like, well, it can't really work both sides of that coin. Like it doesn't.
No, I thought that post you made was spot on. Like it's like loving a diamond that you buy for your wife, even though you know it's a blood diamond.
Yeah, it's gross. It's just gross.
Yeah. But no, man, that's all I got.
All right, sweet. I adopted a kitten. That's about
nice.
it.
There you go.
That's pretty much the only thing that's been going on right now. So
what'd you name it?
Her name is Reese.
Reese,
nice. Like a Reese cup. Yep. That was the name that it already had. I thought it was kind of adorable, so I just kept it. So
is it like peanut butter colored?
Yeah, it's called a tortoiseshell cat. Like that's the color of it. It's like a mix. Yeah, it kind of looks like Rocky Road ice cream.
Little calico looking. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. My son, we had a cat. We had a full bred Himalayan a couple years ago, and that we had to put her down because she was super old, and my son missed having a cat. So it was about that time. It's like we needed to get a new cat, and I want to get a kitten. That's something he could grow up with. One that would then already have like temperaments and stuff that wouldn't be good with a toddler.
Someone that could get used to him.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't set in their ways. So we went to the Humane Society. I adopted his kitten. It's been absolute angel so far. It uses a litter box already. It's 2 months old. It's super lovable. The only problem is that like when I was playing the Tetris Effect with VR on, like it kept licking my hands and trying to jump up in my lap and like get in my face with that helmet on. But other than that, yeah, we have a pet in the Faulkner household again.
Well,
so
watch out for your wires when the teething starts.
Yeah, and we just bought a new Christmas tree, and I'm worried about strapping that bad boy down somewhere because I'm sure that cat will ride it to the floor every chance it gets.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. Shannon, what about you, man?
I learned this week. I had with the virus that went through my house. I had my first experience with my son getting sick, and like in a major way.
Yeah, been there, man.
Yeah, I realized I am manly man on the outside, but when my son gets sick, I am the biggest like pile of useless goop like ever. Like, I just like turn into the biggest worrywart. Like everything, like it's like, and I don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about the late nights or like waking up every 3 hours to switch between the Tylenol and the ibuprofen. Like I got no problems with that, but like it's just he can't talk, so like when he's upset or he's not feeling well, like it's hard to gauge like what I can do to make him feel better.
And there's not there's not much you can give them either, because you can't really give them medicine other than like a couple things.
Yeah, and like that was one of the things that really surprised me because he had 103.5 temperature, and we ran him to the hospital, and
that's up there.
Yeah, and they were like, okay, well, just balance between Tylenol and the children's Tylenol and ibuprofen like every 3 hours, and that'll control it. And so we were just like, okay, that's cool, but that seems like a lot. And they were just like, well, until the temperature gets down, like it just let him run around in his diaper and just keep him doped up on those things. So it's fine. It was a rough couple days.
Did you get the humidifier?
Yeah, we got a humidifier.
Okay, that helps too, man.
Yeah, so like
Elijah is teething, so I am in that same boat of he is screaming in pain, and there's nothing I can do. So I've been incredibly proactive over the last 2 days. I put gripe water in the bottle in the morning and a bottle at night, and I put Tylenol even if he's not complaining, I go ahead and put a Tylenol in the bottle, that first bottle, so I know I'm gonna have 4 hours of him being okay.
Yeah.
But
but at the same time, you just got to do it. You know, like those teeth got to come in.
It gets easier. Yeah, it definitely gets easier.
Crazy fact about teething. So growing up, I always assumed like your teeth cut through your gums on their way out, and that's why it hurts so much. No, it hurts because the cells in front of the teeth are actively rotting and falling away, and your teeth are dropping down. Like your teeth don't cut through your gums. Like your body actually like creates holes for the teeth to descend into.
Ooh, I did not know that.
It's this crazy like human body fact.
I see Robby's,
and I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever heard. Like,
yeah, see, I didn't know that either. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome.
What the hell?
The human body's amazing, dude.
Robby's head just exploded.
That's right, bro. But I unfortunately, guys, I have to go. He is crying and wailing.
Go to your kid, man. We're done. Zach, do you want to? Sorry,
do I just click stop on the recording?
Yep, just hit stop and upload us the file.
Okay. You'll have to walk me through that. But you guys have a good night. I love y'all. I want to be on again if I can.
Okay.
So I'll talk to you guys later.
Awesome.
Later, man.
All right, man. Zach, do you want to wrap us up, man?
I'll just wrap it up by say I went to the atrocity that was the Raiders playing the 49ers the other night, and it's amazing when you watch a professional organization actively quit, and that's what I saw. The only thing that
because of the move,
it's for sure they've decided that this is all pointless here, and they can't.
And Gruden is piecemeal like selling off like the whole team.
It's atrocious. But the only thing that made the experience worth it was a friend of mine at very last minute was like, hey, if you can get to my house, let's go to the game. And I was like, okay. So I made it happen and went to the game. And we had some baller ass tickets, like field level club. You actually go onto the field to like get to your seats and stuff. Like it was like, oh, this is how the 1% live. All right, I can get with this. Like, you know, I'm used to going to stadiums and having there be concessions that you buy. Not here. Here's the open bar. Just go order a drink. Here's the full great buffet. Just go get some food. Like, yeah, tri-tip, sure, no problem. Rotisserie chicken, great, it's right there. Just go have them cut you some. You know, like in the stands, they're handing out water and popcorn and not to buy. Just here. Do you want one? Here you go. I was like, son of a. I'm just
I used to be able to go to Reds games with the last company I worked for because we worked with a company that owned a private booth at the Red Stadium, and I used to get tickets to like the little private booth games and not the private games, but like the booth was private, the games were public, but yeah, they had full open bar, full like buffet of food, burgers, hot dogs, anything you wanted. And I'm not even like a baseball fan. I would just go there just to fucking get drunk and eat. My wife is a baseball fan. She likes baseball. So she's like sitting there, like watching the game the whole time, really getting into it. I'm just like plastered and eating hamburgers and shit. It was pretty good time for me.
You're like, I missed that. Scored. You're like, yeah, and I scored another hot dog. This shit's amazing.
Yeah. Yep. So, I kind of missed that, but oh well.
Yeah. So, I mean, game sucked, but man, what an experience. It was awesome.
Well, I mean, it sucked for you. I mean, like,
oh yeah, everyone else was happy.
It was a win for us. So
awesome. All right, well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We've been running for quite some time, so we'll just close this bad boy by saying, make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at That Pixel Life. Make sure you join the Facebook group if you want to talk games with us, and drop us an iTunes review if you don't mind. That'd be great as well. Any closing words, gentlemen? No. Okay, awesome. Thanks to Robby again. He had to shoot off because some baby drama going on there, but thanks again, Robby, for hopping on, and hope you guys enjoyed him being back. We definitely did. Otherwise, that'll be it for us this week. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Later.
Peace.